Hello everyone and welcome back to another exciting edition of Biographic, the show in which I, Matt, the Game Boy, take you through the highs and lows of the Game Boy library, one card at a time. This week we will be looking at a shell-shocking sequel. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Back from the Sewers. Nothing's as solid as a suitable sequel. One that does all of the things we hoped it would, taking tried and true gameplay, tuning it up to improve its looks, sound and gameplay, then giving us more of what we want. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Back from the Sewers is a Game Boy sequel that tried to do just that. Taking a long, hard look at the original portable efforts in Fall of the Foot Clan, Konami's Turtle team aimed to expand on every aspect of the original in their sophomore outing. Well, except for perhaps the story, which is unsurprisingly almost the same as every other Ninja Turtles game you've ever played. April is kidnapped, Shredder and Krang are up to no good, go and kick their asses. Visually, the game has taken a huge leap forward in almost every aspect. The game's sprites are a lot larger and offer a greater level of detail, and now finally all in scale to their cartoon counterparts. The Turtles themselves suffer from the same problem as in the first game, in that they are all the same hero sprite with their weapon hands simply changed. But as a lot of their animation is so intricate in this game, I'm willing to let it slide. The game's 6 levels also got a massive overhaul visually. Gone are the white walls and flat, lifeless platforms. In their place is set dressing that feels immaculately detailed, and puts this game firmly towards the top of the list for best looking games on the system. Naturally, the bosses all follow this game's level of intricate details, but are one of the game's biggest problems. As you see, this game can be really fucking hard. I kid you not, it took me a few tries to beat this game on easy. Not necessarily because of the bosses themselves, although the end encounters can be a massive nightmare if you're not prepared for them. But because despite how great the game looks, Back from the Sewers really relies on cheap enemy placement to prolong its game length. Seriously. Flying enemies can come out of nowhere, ranged attacks can be a nightmare to dodge, and above all else, even the simplest of enemies can come at you in overwhelming waves in the later stages. Oh, and the fact the last stage is one long, unforgiving slog through multiple bosses. Fortunately, the game's lives function similarly to in previous games. Once a turtle is beaten, you can simply play as another one until you either run out of turtles and use the game's generous unlimited continue system, or by beating a bonus stage in order to save the turtles. Also, by switching the game mode to easy, you have to deal with less bullshit in boss fights. For example, in the first boss battle against Rocksteady, there's a guy throwing things at you out of a window. In easy mode, he's not there. If this subtle difference makes a game more playable in the first, easy stage, I can't even begin to imagine what hells it saved me in the final confrontation against Krang. But aside from the difficulty, Back to the Sewers aims to mix up the gameplay whenever it can. Sure, a lot of the game is simply moving from left to right, clearing enemies, as is beat-em-up tradition. But every once in a while, the game allows the player to beat up enemies in a 3-dimensional space. This is probably less inspired by the 1989 Turtles arcade game, but probably more so by the newly released Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. A game at least spiritually Back from the Sewers seems to emulate, not only in its tight visuals and hoverboard levels, but also in its visual cues, like falling down a manhole or getting flattened by objects. If you've played Turtles in Time as religiously as I have, these are certainly things to appreciate about the second portable outing. But what's really gonna bowl you over about Back from the Sewers is its score. Yuki Karahashi and Tsuyoshi Sekito do a great job of taking the foundations of the score from the first game and dialing them up a little. Not only is the music incredible, but the game actually features some very early voice synthesis that by Game Boy standards is probably the best on the system. Overall, Back from the Sewers is a pretty decent game if you're a player that likes a challenge. It looks and sounds great. So if the difficulty level were just a little less early 90s in terms of its level of challenge, I'd go so far as to say it was probably the best beat 'em up on the system. And hell, even with the difficulty level, I'd still argue it's amongst the top 5. It controls very tightly, has a lot of character, and despite some dinosaur hands on the part of the turtle's weapon wielding, is all in all a solid experience. Pick it up if you see it cheap, as fortunately, while not as common as Fall of the Foot Clan, is a damned sight less pricey than the third entry into the Turtles trilogy, Radical Rescue. If you do pick it up, or if you've already played it, drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think. And that brings us to the end of another Boyographic, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please subscribe if you haven't already. New subscribers, hello. And if you think you may know someone interested in this channel, please share it around. Until my next video, why not check out some more about Boyographic content where I look at the highs and lows of the Game Boy library one cart at a time. Some of our Boy Curious episodes where I look at bootlegs and oddities for the system, and also some of our All the Glory videos where I play through a game, cut out all the deaths, leaving you with none of the faff but all of the glory. Until next week, Game Boys and Girls, game on.